Hey friends, what is up? It's Chris the Earthborn Alchemist, and I'm going to show you step by step how to build a Paiute Deadfall Trap. Now, this trap was named after the Paiute Indians who came up with it, according to history. And there's a couple of reasons why I like this trap over, using other styles. The first and most primary reason is because it doesn't allow the animal to suffer. If an animal is small enough to get caught in this trap, they're killed instantly. And I know that sounds horrible, but in a survival situation, that's just the facts. And so, unlike other snares and that kind of trap system, this doesn't have the animal stuck there, and if you can't get back to the trap, it runs the risk of being mauled by other predators while it's trapped, or it can't escape. If it's cold, it can freeze to death, it can starve to death if you can't get there in time. It's horrible. So the reality is, this is a cool trap in the respects that it is an instant kill. And once it's triggered, that's it. It can't be used again unless you reset it. So very, very powerful in that respects. So I'm going to run through the components of it and then show you how it all works. All right, so I'm putting together. The good thing about this is you can just use what you can find. Now, I've got a length of maybe 8 inches of paracord here. I always carry paracord with me. I wear it on my wrist, and it's a handy tool to have. But you can use anything. Like, you can use pine roots are really good. Cordage comes from all kinds of places in the wilderness, so not an issue. So about 8 inches is what you're looking for in terms of your cord. Now, you've got a post. Your post stick is going to have like a V. So that's going to support your lever, which is just like a standard stick, doesn't really matter how long it is. And then you've got your trigger, and your trigger stick is the one that's going to have the bait put on it. We'll get through that shortly. And then you've got a toggle. Now, the way that you put this together, you take and then of course, I'm using a yard paver here, just to show you how you can use anything. But that would be a rock, it would be a heavy log, it would be whatever. So what you're effectively going to do is you're going to tie your cordage onto one end of your lever stick, and then you're going to tie that to your toggle. Now, if I'm tying something like this, I generally use 2 half hitches. So a round turn, 2 half hitches. You can see it's wrapped around, and then you've basically got your clove hitch in there, which is what 2 half hitches is. All right, so you've got your lever and your toggle secured by the string, your cordage. All right, now let's angle down. You don't need to look at me anymore. This is going to be your trap. So what you want is to make sure that your post, if it's shorter than the trap, like you're going to bury it, right? You don't want any part of that to be under the trap, because that's going to stop the trap from falling effectively. Right. Then we take our lever stick, we're putting it into the V notch, the V of that post, and then we're taking the string. It's a little long, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit, lowers the trap a little bit, that's okay. And then that is quite literally all that's going to hold my trap in place is that toggle. Just make sure that post is in nice and secure. It's in sand here, so now if you're noticing that, like in this case, string is a little bit long for the trap, so I'm just going to shorten that string a little bit. Same knot. Let's see how that flies. That's much better. So now, you see I can hold the whole trap in place just by putting pressure against the toggle, which is where our bait stick comes into it. So you got your bait stick. Now what you're going to do in this instance, you're going to put your bait probably around just off center, and that's the side that's going to go into the trap. And that's going to prop up against the toggle, and the trap itself is now set completely. I can walk away and leave that, and that is only going to be triggered because along the bait stick, the trigger, you've got a little piece of bait here. So effectively what happens, this is all spring loaded. Your critter comes in and starts nibbling on the bait. As soon as pressure goes onto that stick, it doesn't take much. Trap collapses. You've got yourself some dinner. Now this is just a very small, light example of how it works. What you're effectively doing here is supporting the heaviest weight you can with the lightest set of sticks you can, so that they'll all get flung out of the way as the mechanism releases and the trap falls. Nothing gets caught under the trap except for the animal. Now when you're playing with any kind of traps, this is your disclaimer, any kind of traps you're practicing with, if you're not using them for survival, once you've done practicing and playing, pull them down, don't leave them, because traps are indiscriminate killers. You know, if something triggers it and gets caught in it, you don't need to use or eat that animal, or you don't need any component of it, then you've just killed something for no reason. So really important when you are working and playing with traps, one, always make sure the environment's safe. Make sure if it's a trap that can project things, that there's nothing likely to be in the way of it. You know, there's some really elaborate traps you can make that shoot arrows and all kinds of shit like that. I don't mess with any of that. Like, this simple is best. Deadfall, it doesn't get much simpler than that, and it has a really high success rate. So that's your disclaimer. When you're done playing with your traps, pull them down, get them out of the way, and we're good. So that's the Paiute Deadfall, named after the Paiute Indian tribe, and really, really powerful skill to have, how to build one of these. Go and have fun, practice, play, and I will see you all soon.